describe yourself.
Hello, my name is Felix. I am French American and I am 19 years old.
What is your definition of culture?
Culture is defined by where you live, how you live, and your general environment that you are a part of, as well as your family and friends.
So how do you define family?
Family is important as it molds you into who you become, as well as the life lessons you learn and the perspective of how you learn them. Overall, it's a very important aspect in your life.
Who holds the most status in your family?
My father holds the most status in my family as he's providing and teaching us life lessons.
How do you define success?
I define success from what my father has explained it as. In a sense, success is being happy and doing something you love in your life, as opposed to doing something miserable that you hate.
How important is education in your family?
Very important.
Why is it very important in your family?
It's important to have a degree into going in any part of that life, and it will help you out a lot in the future, job hunting, applications, and all this. But overall, education, it helps you grow and understand things from different perspectives.
How is discipline enforced in your family?
Would define exactly like every part of discipline, like manners, and you should always be polite to other people, treat others the way you want to be treated, as well as maintain respect for your elders, and don't talk back if they ask you to be quiet.
Describe your infancy, childhood, adolescent, and adult years.
Very calm, and I was closed off. I was very sheltered.
Your childhood years.
Typical American childhood, so not that much going on and go to school, work. It was typical Western lifestyle.
How about your adolescent years?
A little bit more activities, more sports and extracurriculars.
How do you define or describe your adult years?
The adult years is where it got a lot more interesting, as I had moved to the Philippines, and that's where everything started to change. So the adult years is when there was a lot more things happening, more friends, more family conflicts, as well as a new environment, culture shock, and all that.
Did you ever live with your grandparents or extended family?
No. Never lived with grandparents or extended family.
Do you actively participate in a religion or organization?
Actively participate in a religion? No, except on holidays with our family if we are gathered. And organizations, not actively, but I have participated with organizations in the past.
How important is religion in your family? Why?
It's not as important as local families here, and it's more of do what you want, but try to be respectful to other people's religions.
If religion is important in your family, do you plan to pass this on to your children? Why or why not?
Potentially. It's a difficult question as religion. It's a very difficult topic of discussion.
Are the roles of men and women specific
find in your family? If so, what are they?
No.
Do you have any eating habits slash rituals that are specific to your culture?
We usually eat meals as a family, and usually it'll take a large amount of time due to everyone talking and catching up. It's when you eat as a family, and you should not have to worry about getting separated or trying to hurry up just to get back to what you want to do. You sit down and you should enjoy a meal with your family. That's our ritual.
Can you define and describe the most important or the most celebrated holiday of your culture?
The most celebrated holiday of our culture would probably remain to be either Christmas Eve, when we gathered with our family and we actually went to church, or we had a large family dinner. That's probably remains to be the most important holiday.
So, how is sexual contact viewed in your culture?
As in, just like for sexual intercourse and all that in general. Being a Westerner, it's a little bit more loose than the Eastern lifestyle. However, it's still viewed that you should respect other people's cultures and opinions and beliefs. So it's kind of just a cultural difference, but it's one that we try to respect still.
What is considered the most disrespectful thing in your culture?
Insulting your parents or disobeying your parents is the most.
What is considered the most respectful thing in your culture?
Most respectful, there's nothing that's considered the most respectful. It's kind of just, you just don't disrespect anyone, and you just try to be as generous and as caring as you can, and they'll understand it.
What would you say is, from your perspective, the most commonly held misconception about people of your culture?
There are a lot of stereotypes and beliefs about Americans. Some of those are true, but generally there's a large majority of the population that isn't. It's very hard to explain, as the stereotypes for Americans are sometimes insulting, or how racist they can be. It's not true, as it's just a difference in this question's very difficult to.
Have you ever experienced racism, and if yes, in what form?
It's yes, only here. It's not really racism, it's more of the fact that since you're a foreigner, and if you're viewed differently, and if people don't like you as a foreigner, they will just insult you. From what I got in here.
What can be done about racism and prejudice in your opinion?
A lot of people are already trying to accomplish and take steps to ensure equality. However, it's a very difficult goal to reach, especially on the side that the racism is always a part of everyone's life, no matter how much you try to avoid it, and no matter how much people try to look past it, people will always end up starting something new, and it'll just go right back to step one. So it's very difficult to look past that.
What is the best thing about living in your country?
It's not really a best thing. Every country is just different. It's more of just there's not, I guess, as much culture shock, as many language differences. So I guess the best thing would probably be the fact that it's easier to communicate. I've just lived there, so I just know how to get around, as opposed to trying to learn everything again here.
How about the worst thing about living in your country?
the racism is probably the worst thing.
Have you ever felt excluded based on your gender or culture?
Partially, it's mainly due to the fact that if I'm in one place, since I'm American and French, if I'm here, I'm considered American. But if I'm in America, I'm considered French. So it's kind of just like being thrown back and forth just a little bit. It's probably.
What was your first impression to the Filipinos when you came here in the Philippines?
I was shocked at how religious you were, and I guess it was just generally how many languages, how many dialects you guys have in the Philippines is what shocked me.
Can you tell us, are there any similarities in terms of values, character, or the way of life between Filipinos and the people back in your home?
Generally, in European families in you guys try to at least uphold family values, and family is very important. As in Europe, religion is not it is important, but so in some aspects, similarities include understanding of religion and practice of religion. Other similarities. That's
So how's your overall stay here in the Philippines?
it's definitely been enjoyable, but it's also been eventful. As opposed to the States, it's been way more eventful than my whole stay in the States.
Are you happy?
Yes, I do enjoy it here.
So I guess that is all for this interview. Thank you, Felix. And I do hope that you stay here in the Philippines for like quite a while.